Okay, some news before we get into ups and downs, because I know you appreciate learning everything that's going on in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment. And yes, apparently Vince McMahon was all ready to film 5 weeks worth of content. They were going to shoot a load of stuff on Friday and Saturday, and Raw would be in the can, and SmackDown would be in the can, and NXT would be in the can. And then Vince McMahon changed his mind, and now WWE are going back to doing live broadcasts. Don't ask me, I don't know, I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot me, because then I'll be dead, and I won't be able to do anything else now, will I? But let's not worry about that, because it's not what we're here to do. We are here to go through the first SmackDown ever since WrestleMania 36, and give the good bits an up, and the bad bits a down. I really miss fans. I've got to that point, the novelty has worn off. I want people, I want love, I want cheer. I just want someone to hug. Let's up those downs. The start of SmackDown was so odd. We had Braun Strowman's big scream, entrance music, rah, and out came the new champion, to which Michael Cole said, "Oh, he's a monster of a Universal Champion." That is not a sentence. Also, Braun had such a massive smile on his face, but it wasn't like a smile that conveyed, "Oh, I'm so happy I've got this gold around my waist." It was more like somebody in the back just told me, when you become Universal Champion, you get a lifetime supply of candy. I can't wait to eat the candy. If nothing else, it just looked like that he knew something that we didn't. He then went into full-on script mode and said something along the lines of, "There's an old saying, when opportunity knocks, you better open the door." Because... the hell? Oh, there's nobody here. No opportunities for me. Well, that was a shame. What a kick up my ass that is. I believe in you, Braun. I believed, and you've already let me down. Anywho, he then went on to rag all over Goldberg. "My dad, lovely seeing you this morning." And he made it sound like Goldberg will never come back to the WWE before he was interrupted by none other than Shinsegae Nakamura. And Shinsegae Nakamura had a very good point. "You were just talking about opportunity knocking on the door. Well, I heard the knock, and now I am here to challenge you." So Shinsegae Nakamura had more luck than I did. WWE let Shinsegae do a promo as well, and surprise, surprise, it was fine. I never understood why we didn't let him do more of this in the first place. And really, while I'm still not 100% sure about how I feel as Braun Strowman as Universal Champion, this was okay, and I enjoy Nakamura. It's as simple as that. When you let Nakamura run amok like he was doing here, I feel sports entertained. Shinsuke then rolled off some other proverbs before Braun said he had a proverb of his own, which was, "Get these hands." Braun, it's not a proverb. In my life, you're the only person that says that, and I'm still not 100% sure what it means. Before Azzaro, of course, snuck up behind Braun Strowman, he turned around, pushed him out the ring, and then Shinsuke Nakamura kicked him right in the face. And as always, because there was no crowd, when the Swiss Superman did the sneaking and Braun did the pushing, it looked a bit like, I don't know, like gymnastics really, because Azzaro, he sailed over the top rope with so much grace, I was more impressed, kind of like a beautiful swan. Honestly, look, this was fine. It was nothing you were going to call home about, but if you are calling home, you should definitely have other things to talk about right now. Give it up. It was then WrestleMania Rematch time, because WWE can't help themselves. And I actually thought this was, of course, the law of diminishing returns, because I enjoyed Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss versus the Kabuki Warriors at the pay-per-view, but I had no need to see it again only a few days later, especially because the ending was exactly the same. Also put Asuka in a very strange position, because she's kind of got a winning streak going on Raw, and then on SmackDown she's in a tag team with Kairi Sane, where she loses. Also, what the hell happened to no automatic rematches? Down. That's not to knock these four at all, because they put on another decent match, and there was even one point when Asuka and Nikki Cross were yelling at each other, and it was a little bit like Jurassic Park. I also do like Alexa and Nikki as a tag team. I think if we double down on this and we focus on it and actually give them a proper feud, we may actually be able to invest. And like I say, it was also very similar to what we'd already seen. Nikki Cross got the blind tag, Kairi Sane didn't know, she got neckbreakered 1, 2, 3. Alexa Bliss and her best friend are still your women's tag team champions. And really, if we could just find a couple of people, like I say, to put in a program with this and elongate it, that will be fine. But boy howdy did I regret coming up with that statement and then seeing what WWE did later on. Elias was then back in his damn perch where King Corbin had tried to kill him, and he didn't give two flubs about that, but I suppose it is good to try and eradicate your fears by staring death in the face. So more power to him. His next step, though, is to go after the Money in the Bank briefcase, which makes all the sense in the world, because that's how you get to the top. And the guitar-playing fool, also said what happened between him and Baron Corbin was a bit like the Lion King, and I appreciated that reference, Elias. I like it when wrestlers are self-aware, so you get a couple of thumbs. I tell you too, I am intrigued by all this Mandy Rose, Otis, Dolph Ziggler, and Sonya Deville stuff. I have no idea what's going to happen, other than the obvious mixed tag match, which will come sooner rather than later, but I'm enjoying it a lot. It started with Sonya and Dolphy Ziggles coming out together, so we're definitely doing these two as a pair, and they went straight to Corey Graves and Michael Cole and just started yelling at them going, "You don't understand. We're doing what's best for Mandy Rose. She's our friend." I mean, it was a load of baloney, but good for them for believing it. As it turned out, we were also going to get Dolphy Boy versus Tucker, and when Tucker came out, he had a few pictures to show off to these two, and it was Mandy Rose and Otis working out together. For some reason, Otis had a bunch of bananas. All I'm going to do is throw that out into the world as I have just done, and you can do with that whatever you fancy. And I dug this as well. Ziggler got the win after a bunch of distractions from Sonya Deville, and I quite like these two as an evil pairing. I just hope that WWE doesn't forget about Tucker, because he's really good as well. I don't want him to get lost in the shuffle. Unfortunately, because of Sonya, he did get super kicked right in the face here, and he did lose, but you got to do that. Dolph Ziggler needs to get some momentum, so that when all the four clash, Otis, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, and Dolph Ziggler, it kind of makes more sense. Now, you do got to ask, where the hell was Otis, Tucker's brother, throughout all of this? And it gave me the fear. I got really scared. Don't you do some kind of storyline angle, WWE, where Otis is so infatuated with his girlfriend, he forgets about the people that brought him to the dance in the first place. Do you want to see my heart run up out my throat and pop out my mouth on the floor and just explode? Because I'm so sad? I don't think you do. Very worried. We also learned in a couple of weeks we are going to get a 25th anniversary celebration for Triple H, I presume because he's had 25 years in the company. And as long as we let the game run amok like he did do on SmackDown a few weeks ago, I am more fine with that. The dirt sheet was up next, and I don't know, man. Like, everybody involved here is so entertaining, but I feel like I'm in Groundhog Day. And I feel like I'm in Groundhog Day in my real house, in my real life, because of the worldwide pandemic. Let's just talk about it. It started with Miz and Morrison, of course, because it's their show, and they were just being their usual fun-loving selves. Johnny Boy was over the moon that he is the first person ever to retain the tag team titles by himself, whereas The Miz was also ecstatic because he's the first man to retain the tag team championships sitting on his couch, his sofa. I like this, and you want to know why? Because they have a good relationship. They're a team, and ain't nothing going to break them apart. And then you already know what happened because the Usos came out, and then the New Day came out, and they decided to make a match. And all three of these teams are absolutely brilliant, but we have seen every single variation at least 92,764 times, and I'm not sure I can see it again. With that said, there was one we hadn't seen, and also it tied into the storyline, so instantly I forgave them, but with the caveat that this has to be the end, this has to be the last bit. But given what we had at WrestleMania 36, next week on SmackDown, we're going to get Jey Uso versus Big E versus The Miz for the Tag Team Championships, and then finally we can learn who is the best of the best. Fine, good, dandy, but again, whoever does walk away with the damn gold, everybody else has to go off in their own direction. So New Day go over there, New Day, no, done them, Usos go over there, and Miz and Morrison can go up. Left, right, up, and I said up, it's going to get an up, but you don't make me regret it. Miz and Morrison also talked about the Boneyard match and reiterated that they believe AJ Styles is dead. How the hell is WWE gonna bring him back? We do have a new tag team on SmackDown though, so hopefully all my fears I just talked about are going to be rectified because it is the Forgotten Sons from NXT. I presume they've been called up for real. WWE seems to be a little bit scatterbrained with this, but I understand we're in a crazy town situation, and they were taking on the Lucha Brothers, and they won after that inverted DDT stomp thing they do. And it wasn't the biggest victory in the world because we barely even see the Luchas anymore, but a victory is a victory, and this, my friends, was a victory, and I think the Forgotten Sons could do better on the main roster than they did down in NXT. Now, I shouldn't have run my big mouth, should I? I'm a bald asshole, I'm a moron, because we were back in the back where people in the back have conversations, and we saw Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross celebrating their tag team win. And then Dana Brooke and Carmella just went up to them and said, "Hello, dear friends. Are we able to have some kind of championship match?" And Alexa Bliss was like, "I don't know. I think you should really earn your opportunity." And then Nikki Cross jumped in and was like, "Yeah, let's do a title match." So once again, for the umpteenth time, you just have a couple of people strolling on up and saying, I'd like to wrestle you, and someone else goes, okay, great. I thought wrestling was meant to be about story and narratives and tales and twists and surprises. We are just doing this all the damn time. But it's my fault. I said I wanted tag team champions to have a new program, and WWE just gave it to me on a silver platter when really I wanted to go on a roller coaster. So I'm going to be a hypocrite, but I am a massive dick. It's getting a down. I've also no idea what the plan is between Sasha Banks and Bayley. It kind of feels like WWE is sitting on it until we can do it in front of a crowd, because that would get an awesome reaction. But I am still digging it at every single turn. I also think Bayley has become quite the wonderful heel. Give it up. The pair were out to celebrate their victory at WrestleMania 36, but Bayley kept putting her foot in it because she was like, I'm the best, I'm the best. Then went, oh no, sorry, we're the best, we're the best. And Sasha Banks looked at her like, I'm going to pretend I like you, but really I want to kick your ass. This was always going to be a case of who is going to interrupt first, and amazingly, it was Tamina, the person who had lost in the five-way at WrestleMania 36 first. And of everybody who could have lost more, she lost the most. I mean, she did make a point in the sense that the only reason she did lose was because everybody teamed up on her and whooped her, but you're allowed to do that. It was a five-way. You can come up with any strategy that you so wish. So I can only presume this is happening because nobody is meaner than Tamina, because she is the meaner and her name is Tamina. As it turned out, we are going to get a little bit of a mini gauntlet, because if Tamina can get meaner and beat Sasha Banks next week, the following week, or maybe at Money in the Bank, she will take on Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And it was Bayley that announced this, because once again, she has magic hand powers where she is able to dictate what happens on the shows, but the boss was not happy again. Her face was a picture. I did enjoy how terrified these two were of Tamina though, because they know that nobody is meaner than Tamina. And I will run that joke into the ground, and one day I'll be buried along with it. But honestly, Bayley is good, Sasha Banks is good. I kind of get a kick out of Tamina. Who knew? Sheamus then squashed some jobber like a grape. I think his name was Cal Bloom, and he just broad kicked him right in the head and got the 1, 2, 3. I kind of feel sorry for Sheamus at the moment because he is lost in the shuffle, and I would have liked to have seen him at WrestleMania 36. I still think he's underrated, and I guess he's in the limelight, the latter part of his career, so, you know, let's do something with him. Thanks. He also just stared at Corey Graves and Michael Cole after this, walked past the announce table and just looked at them. So maybe he's going to have a feud with them. Oh, I did it again. If that happens. We then transitioned into a video package for Jeff Hardy, getting us ready for his big return, even though we saw his big return a few weeks ago when he fought Baron Corbin. And fair play, Corey Graves did mention this, but it was a bit out of whack. However, great video package. If you don't know who Jeff Hardy is, because you're a new viewer, now you do. And if you do remember Jeff Hardy, you watch this and went, oh yeah, that guy is a flipping loon. I look forward to having him back properly. Okay, brace yourself, because we do have a new feud, but before we get there, Braun Strowman versus Shinsegae Nakamura in our main event. And this just occurred to me, some people out there may be going, well, son, you can't praise this, because this was just a guy coming out and asking for a match, but it's different. One, wasn't a title match. I don't care if you have matches all day long that don't have the belt on the line. But two, Shinsegae Nakamura actually had a good point. The last time he was in the ring with Braun Strowman, he won, even if he had to have two mates with him. So now he wants another crack at it. I'm alright with this. Up. And it went as you'd expect to, like a lot of matches did on this SmackDown. Azzaro kept getting involved, but it wasn't enough, because while Braun Strowman can't beat a trio of people when it's just a pair of plums, he can whoop their ass. He avoided the Kinshasa, he hit Shinsegae Nakamura with the Power Slam, and still your Universal Champion is Braun Strowman. And the reason I zoomed through all that as quick as I did is because I know what you want to talk about, and that's the fallout, it's the aftermath. Because as soon as he had one, the Firefly Funhouse started, and Bray Wyatt was having a conversation with the Universal Champion. He said straight up, Braun Strowman, I remember what you did. I remember when you betrayed us and left the Wyatt family, so maybe I'm gonna forgive you. And he was all ready to do this until the puppets got involved, and they were like, no, don't forgive him. He's a giant asshat, or words to that effect. Apart from Rambling Rabbit, he thought Braun Strowman was really cool, but he got told to shut up. Strowman shouted back that I don't have time for these games, but he clearly did, because he just stood in the ring and listened to every single second. But then Bray made it nice and clear. He wants something from Braun, and it's laying over his shoulder. He meant the Universal title. Wyatt also made the point that it was he who brought Braun Strowman into this world, so now he will take him out of it. I take away from that is that Bray Wyatt gave birth to Braun Strowman, and now he's going to murder him. That is going to be quite the story. Braun didn't give two hoots about this and said he was happy to let Bray in, and I tell you, man, this actually came across pretty good, or so I thought. Firstly, it makes all the sense in the world because they do have a history, and Bray Wyatt's whole shtick has been going against people who have wronged him in the past. And there was also a line here when Bray Wyatt said something like, the circle is complete and a new one begins. And you could kind of interpret it, and I'm pulling at straws here massively, but hey, I can do whatever I want, that he allowed Goldberg to beat him in Saudi Arabia so he could lose his championship, so he could get revenge against John Cena to now get his championship back from Braun Strowman and also get revenge against the Monster Among Men. Again, I'm going all out here, but I will do that. Bray finished the Firefly Funhouse off by smiling and waving. And then Braun Strowman also did that, to try and take the mick out of Bray Wyatt. But once again, it was a bit like Braun was going, I'm so happy the show is over, I've got a load of candy to eat. So this is the feud, and if it does end up with Wyatt getting the belt back, as long as we treat it properly this time, I'll be all right with it. But I do understand your reservations. We probably should have kept the Fiend way away from the title picture, but beggars can't be choosers, so we have arrived at this place. I just realized I put the up in the wrong place. The up was meant to be here, but it's an all-inclusive up for the main event of Shinsegae versus Braun and this bit. I count it as one segment, so that's just one up. So if it's already on the counter, it doesn't get another one, and if we haven't put it there, now it does get one, or there may be some editing everyone gets two, but it's just one. We're also going to get some Money in the Bank qualifying matches next week, and I always enjoy it when WWE does this because it makes it feel more like a tournament, and one of those fights is going to be Daniel Bryan versus Azzaro. Those two can fight until the day I die, and I will never complain. So that was that. It was a very odd episode of SmackDown, but I surprised myself by actually quite enjoying Braun Strowman as Universal Champion. I know you're going nuts right now and pulling your hair out. Don't worry, you look like me soon, but it is going to get an up. I was entertained. Also, I really like Sasha Banks and Bayley. I don't know where all these things are coming from, but it's damn true. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's episode of SmackDown. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, then head over to WhatCulture.com, read yourself some articles, follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE, and watch more videos here on WhatCulture Wrestling. My name is Simon from WhatCulture. Thank you for joining me as always. I hope you're all staying safe. I hope you're all well, and I'll see you on the other side.